You brought
Yeah.
up the Greeks. They would bring food and water and
Yeah.
milk and stuff to the deceased and expect them to drink and eat because they're still alive somehow.
They are, yes. And so our guys are there as well. So when you see this, so you see what's going on. You have this kind of complex web of material that you need, that all informs how we understand just a simple line in an epigraphic text. You see what I mean?
Yes.
All of that you see, and then their world starts to come to life to you, and you say, "Aha! This is." And in some ways, it's familiar. In some ways, it's not. These are not the Islamic period literary sources that help us understand this ancient material, but they cannot dictate what was there. You see what I mean?
Yes.
And we need to bring other things, and then ultimately that world starts to come to life to us. And it is in many ways, a very different world, a very exotic world. And the meaning, so a lot of people, when they read through like a Safietic dictionary, they say, well, why does this word mean this? Well, I'm giving you sort of the context for why the word means this. The word very rarely means exactly what it means in the Arabic dictionary, unless it's a simple word like he pastured raya, right? Fine. But these culturally specific words, process of figuring out what they mean is incredible. It's an adventure. I'll tell you another story in this line to sort of contextualize this, if that's okay. Do we have time?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Check this out. In 2019, we discovered, we got to this wadi. We drive. Let me give you sort of a picture so you can get an idea of what I'm talking about here.
Okay. You want me to share the screen?
Is my screen sharing? I'm sharing my screen.
I'm sharing it now.
Okay,
yeah.
very good. All right.
You let me know when you want to show an image because I haven't shown any yet till now.
Okay, good. Let me show you something of the landscape here, okay? Let me see what we got here. All right, so look at these beautiful landscapes. Can you, all right, excellent. Aha, you see?
Yes.
So this is what the Black Desert looks like, right? So you have these wadis here. Now, this is the summertime, all right? So everything's dead. The world is dead. But in ideal times, these wadis can be quite lush, filled with herbage, water. People are going to be having a good time there. And then you've got these hills, hill country full of rocks. Very, very rugged terrain, beautiful. For me, this is paradise. I'm completely in love with this place. But we're talking about when you're out there, like this last season, it's about 115 Fahrenheit or so. What's that, like 45 or something? I don't know. But that's just the temperature on your device. Notice all the rocks are black. So that is, you see, it's like you're in a sauna. It's literally a sauna. And then you're doing, pretty good cardio, right? In those conditions, it's tremendous. So I'll explain. I'll give you some stories about that. But so you're hiking around here. So we're going. This is a relatively easy wadi, but some wadis are filled with boulders. So cars can't go in there, and you just need to kind of hike in the wadi. Okay. So we're hiking. We got to this wadi. It's a beautiful place, and we start hiking. And our goal is to hike about 8 miles down the wadi to another point where the cars can come meet us and get us, right? So they'll go around and meet us at the end of this particular area. About an 8-mile hike, all the while serving. We've got 2 teams, one on this side, for example, one on the other side, serving in this kind of, you've got to fan out to make sure you see everything and document.
So you're looking at these rocks just to make sure we're on the same page, looking for any potential inscription or epigraphic evidence.
Absolutely. And archaeological sites.
Right.
Now check this out. So we go, we're walking down, maybe we're about 1.5 miles in, and the wadi is very steep here. You've got maybe it's about 700 feet tall or so, right? So it's quite high, and it is pretty steep, maybe more than a 45-degree angle, pretty steep. And you've got to kind of climb. It almost becomes rock climbing to get up there.
Holy.
But we get up there, right? And just to kind of even further contextualize that, you should wear gloves. I never wear gloves, and it's stupid because I tear my hands up. But you should wear gloves because the rocks, you could cook egg, like you could fry an egg on these rocks because it's so hot, right? It's fantastic. You're talking, like I said, this is paradise. It's amazing. So we get to the top of the wadi, all right? And this is a survey mission. So we're just surveying. We don't have an archaeologist with us. We reach this place and we look at it. Whoa, what's going on? We go forward and you have clearly some kind of installation. But what is it? One area, you have a circle, cleared out circle, perimeter, and all of the rocks on that circle are inscribed, filled with inscriptions. Okay. Then you have a corridor that goes to the edge of the wadi where you have another stone circle. And then another corridor going south that leads to another stone circle. So you have sort of like an L. All right. And these stone circles in the middle, you have inscriptions. So I go to these inscriptions. I start reading them. You have to read on the field because otherwise you don't know what you're getting. And there are consequences for this. So we start reading them. What's going on? This is some kind of burial installation, something that we've never seen before. It's for a woman called Gub. She's a very important woman, all this kind of business, right? She has about 40 people coming to mourn her. And this installation is called a thiyat.
A thiyat?
T-H-Y-T, thiyat. Okay?
Oh, okay.
All right, this is what they call it. So now we know the name of the installation, which is very cool. We know that this installation, it comes from the verb thawaya, which means to rest. So this is a rest. Got it. So one of these things must be a grave. All right, something's going on here. All right, something very, very interesting going on. We document it. We document all the inscriptions. So who is this woman Gub? Well, Gub is described in these inscriptions with the verb ain ra sin. Maybe it's arus. There are no vowels. We don't know. Now, if you look in the Arabic dictionaries, that means bride. Okay, that means bride. Fine, bride. Why not? She's bride. Is that what it is? Is that really what it means? I have no idea. It's the only time the word has ever occurred in the corpus. Is she a bride? Is she about to get married? Well, I don't think so. Here, I'll share another photo. Nearby, and just again to show you how important she was, you see this inscription here is very nice. Yes. Now, I'm not going to worry so much about the Greek here. Okay. The Greek is very nice, right? Very interesting. And this talks about bilingualism among these nomads. There's all that business. But this little inscription here is very nice. It's by a guy called Wa'il. He calls himself Ba'al Gub. He is the husband of Gub.
Okay.
So she's so important that this guy is identifying as her husband. Huh? Oh. Can you imagine how important she is? Which also tells us that she's not a bride. She's been married. Huh? So what does this word arasa mean? I have no idea. What does it mean? So, and then this was in 2019. COVID happened. We couldn't come back for a while. Then I got distracted and went other places. So this year we came back. This year I brought an archaeologist with us and we excavated the site. Now I can't give away much yet. That's coming later. That's going to be done in publication. We excavated the site. Huge stuff are coming. Amazing stuff. All right. But excavating the site didn't tell us what the word arus or aras or aris, whatever meant. We didn't know what this word meant. So we're surveying, you know, I'm not an archaeologist. We have the archaeologist working. At the same time, we're surveying and doing other things. We reach, we're in another valley, and one of the things that the local Bedouin love to do is they build way markers, kind of piles of stones, cairns, just to mark ways, right? And oftentimes, unfortunately, what they do is they dismantle older structures. They dismantle, ancient things to build these markers, okay? Okay, fine. All right, so you're going to try to get at them, and sometimes there's very interesting things in them. So we're at one, and I look, and I'm looking at it, and right at the base of it, sticking out of the dirt, it had been covered with dirt, there's a stone, and the very end of an inscription is parent, and the very end of the inscription says that same word again, arus or aris or whatever it is. It's that same word. It's occurred again for the second time only. We need that inscription. Now we need to figure out what this is. So I'll show you what we ended up doing. So of course we dismantled this modern way marker, which was a tremendous amount of work to do. And let me see here. Yeah. And so we dug out, we took it all apart, and we dug out the inscriptions. You see them?
Yes.
Yes.
Wow.
And there, we dug them out, and there is the text here. And this is a text mourning, not a woman this time, but a man who seemed to have been rather important. We don't know because they dismantled the original structure. We have no idea what was actually there, whether it was something like a thiyat or not. We don't know because they dismantled it to build this thing. And he is this time arus or aris or whatever. So that's very interesting. And so it's a gender neutral term, or at least it's inflecting like it does in Arabic with vowels, not with endings. And it seems to be a kind of title, a social title. I wonder if it has to do with nobility. And then later on over time in Arabic, that title just ends up meaning bride or grooms or whatever you like, right?
Right.
But that it's originally a noble title, and that we're looking at the burial of noble individual in this society. I don't know. Very interesting. But that is, we can call this, to use Macintosh Smith's term, this is dictionary land. This is how we figure out what things mean, right?
And so I see the cool inscription to the right over there.
Yeah, that was also buried there. Yeah, that's just that one is fun. You got a camel and these big. This is what they call the common script or what have you. But this is a different one here. So these are two different kind of groups. But this whole place was filled with inscriptions. We found so many fun stuff here. So many fun things. Tremendous adventures. But lots of work. These things are. These rocks are heavy. And,
I bet.
Like I said, I haven't been to the gym in years, so I'm completely out of shape. So but you're motivated. You've got adrenaline adrenaline running, you're excited. So, you start to have the strength you used to have when you did go to the gym, and you end up doing these things, but you feel it in the morning. But it's a lot of fun. So it's really good. And that's the quest for even what a single word can mean. It can take years and exploration just to figure out, or just to come closer to figure out what a single word might. Isn't that tremendous?
In light of this, absolutely. In light of this, and I want to see some more images if you don't mind, but I think, because I like to jump around and look at other cultures and try to get an idea that might contextualize or at least give something. And being these are noble people, as we know in the ancient, not just Near East, but you can go to Greece, Macedonian regions. You could look at this, Egypt, etc. They deify noble people. And I'm wondering if any of that might be playing a role here in these people, in this culture of deifying these noble individuals. I don't know. I mean, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, that's a good question. With our nomads, I mean, we don't have any good evidence for that yet of ancestral worship or any of this. But the Nabateans seem to have turned one of their kings into a god. So one of their kings, Ubudat, Hellenized Obodas, he ended up becoming a god.
Got it.
He was revered to the point that he became a god. He gets called Ubuda, Alaha, Ubudat, the god, and what have you. So it's quite something.
So back on Bride, though, just because this is your thing and you're really trying to point out something powerful about how do we get behind this and figure out what the language meant to them.
Anything meant,
What anything meant. Bride is what it seems to be understood by people today, or at least based on the definition in Arabic. What are you nudging toward in your subjective opinion right now? Like, what are you thinking it might mean, even if, we aren't sure?
Yeah, I mean, the problem with these Safavidic inscriptions is we don't know very much about their social structure. What's very curious is that the inscriptions give us tribal affiliations. There's only one title that seems to tell us anything about their social structure. It's a title Haddai, which refers to a military leader. Okay, that's it. So we really don't know very much about their internal hierarchy. Surely there was some kind of hierarchy. Surely they were what we might call shuyukh, sheikh, right? Tribal lord or king or what have you. Right. There must have been, maybe his family members were important. If we look at earlier sources, for example, the Assyrians talk about Arab kings and queens from this area. And so I start to wonder whether I think that this term here might have to do with like a chief, right? A tribal chief of some sort. And what ends up happening, and that's very interesting that you have a female in this position, right? And she clearly was very important because look, this guy is identifying himself as her husband. Right. So she's an important person socially. I wonder if this has to do with some kind, it's a position of authority, okay, in the tribe. I think that that's what we're getting at. Right. And you might think of an analogy of how, for example, you might use the term princess today to talk about a beautiful young woman. You see what I mean? It's lost its meaning in a literal sense. We don't have, let's say in America, we don't have princesses, right? That title that is not there anymore. We don't have royalty, but the word survives to talk about, either a spoiled young girl or a beautiful little girl, or you will use it, she's a princess. You see what I mean?
Yeah.
And if all that survived was American English, you would say, princess means sweet little girl. But then you go and find an ancient text where it's like, hold on, they're using princess in a way that doesn't really match the meaning we have.
Because we don't know their social culture.
Yes, precisely. Because when that structure changes, words will survive, but they'll take on different meanings.